Hey everyone, and welcome to my top 5 mods and maps of Battlefront 2 for the year of 2020. I'm so happy to see that even after 15 years, this old classic still gets love and support from a community that never gives up on it. And the most incredible thing of all is that that very same community is making content and updates that still manage to impress and blow us away. Now, I have played a lot of maps and mods this year, but I usually don't do them in chronological order, and so there was a bit of hassling to find only mods that came out this year, so there is an exception for the release of this year on the list. But other than that, I believe that these entries have either been released or at least updated this year. And then, without further ado, let's jump into the first entry of the top 5. On number 5, we immediately start with the exception to that rule and talk about a map that technically came out in 2019, and that is Jedi Purge Tatooine. This is part of the Jedi Purge series, a map series that is very cool and original, telling the stories of the Jedi being hunted down by the newly created Empire. You do this in a great variety of locations, with each map offering drastic different set pieces and gimmicks. The Tatooine map is one that plays it very safe in terms of level layout and gameplay, but because of that, it stands sturdy on its own 2 feet. I'm a big fan of the Tatooine aesthetic, and the brightness and vibrant colors complement this map to make playing it a very pleasant experience. You fight among small villages that provide enough cover to keep the battle from turning into one giant mass, and the distance and locations makes it to where the fight is always balanced and well paced. There are many other very interesting maps in the Jedi Purge series. Some even have you fight as armies of the Jedi. But with Tatooine, you return to familiar ground with really great looking skins and models as a cherry on top. Don't miss out on this one. At number 4 stands the Tatooine Dmake map, which is a map that is inspired by the Tatooine map from EA's Star Wars Battlefront 2. This is a map that is still in early development, and because of that, there are some graphical glitches and sounds missing, but the overall vibe from the game is great, with beautiful model skins and weapons. Though I know that EA's Battlefront sometimes gets a hard time from the older Battlefront fans, I think that the game can stand on its own, but I won't argue that the gameplay and pace of the older Battlefront games is more to my liking. It feels much less frantic and chaotic, and that is exactly what this map demonstrates. The layout of the map is great, with many different alleyways and streets to fight around in, and with plenty of fighters zooming over your head, the engagement still feels very epic and hectic in a good way. It shows that the same layout, combined with the pace and mechanics of the older Battlefront 2 game, make it to where it is even more enjoyable to play. There are some nice Easter eggs to find as well, including station U-Wings. Because of the different layout, the battle also does not feel similar at all to the vanilla Mos Eisley maps, which of course have been done to death already with a lot of clones. It could still use some more polish, but with this map, some great fun is definitely guaranteed. Then we arrive at the top 3, and at number 3, we have the Halo mod, which is an older mod that has had releases in previous years, but received a big update this year that added some awesome content. The snow map has the best experience in my opinion, where it just drops a whole bunch of custom content on you which guarantees tons of fun and replayability. First off, you have 2 custom factions to choose from, with the UNSC and the Covenant, and at the UNSC side, every unit has custom looks and weapons that feel awesome and are true to the feel of the Halo games. Then the Covenant have very impressive looking custom models, including the little grunts, and the most impressive thing of all is that their animations don't even look all that weird or out of place. It's a true joy to play, with all these custom units and trying out the many different weapons. But then, when you're getting used to those, you can of course also hop into one of the many different custom vehicles that are at your disposal and continue the fun in the seat of a Warthog, Ghost, or even something bigger like a tank or a walker. There's other maps as well that have you play as Master Chief in a Horde survival mode, and there are some red vs blue maps that have been in earlier updates. But for the true Halo fan, this is a mod and map not to be missed. Even for those who are not particular Halo fans, this mod is still worth it just to admire the work that went into the custom models and skins. On number 2, we find the awesome LEGO mod. Now the real highlight of this entry is more the mod itself than the map, since the map just works as a simple showcase. In EA's Battlefront 2, there have been some mods where you can play as LEGO models in the skirmishes, but I thought it would be so cool to do that too with the old version, and look and behold, our prayers were heard. This great mod, which is currently only at its demo stage and has one map of Scarif, gives a glimpse of what is about to come with beautiful looking LEGO models for both the Empire and the Rebels. Each model looks perfect and so unique that you want to play as each and every one of them. The movements all feel natural and even coherent to that LEGO feel, despite making use of the Battlefront engine. There are awesome details like being shot into 100 different tiny LEGO pieces when killed, or the iconic hearts from the LEGO games functioning as health items. Now, as I mentioned, the map itself is very basic and not the real reason to check it out, but it does showcase some objects and assets that are from LEGO as well, meaning hopefully in the future we will get updates with entire maps that will feel like we are playing in the LEGO universe as well. It's yet another real milestone for those wanting to see how far people can take the models and skins for this 15-year-old game. And with these quirky, funny LEGO units, the game feels like a whole brand new experience. An absolute marvel, and we barely have scratched the surface. And then we arrive at the number one mod / map for Battlefront 2 of 2020, and that is without a doubt the Trench Warfare Lothal map. This map, which is officially called Lothal Communications Tower, is an absolute perfection, and in my opinion, even top 10 worthy of all time. The Trench Warfare map series have really been a sight for sore eyes this year, and a marvel for still keeping that modding community alive for this old game, as frequent updates and new map releases offer ever awesome battles on epic scale and proportions. The setup of each of these maps is to offer giant warfare scenarios between the Empire and the Rebels as one side defends and the other attacks, usually with 3 or sometimes even 4 giant walkers at their disposal. And with Lothal, it is no exception. The very bright and colorful aesthetic is of course very pleasing and right up my alley, since earlier I mentioned how much of a fan I am of the yellow Tatooine aesthetic, and so the same counts for Lothal. The battle setup is great, with the Empire attacking from 2 sides and the Rebels defending multiple rows and fronts of small trenches. You will need to fight for every inch of ground, but you'll be loving every second of it because the units you can play around with are so awesome, with great looking models and skins, and even having Grand Admiral Thrawn at your disposal on the Imperial side or the Sith Inquisitor. On the Rebel side, you also have many different characters from the Rebel show, including Ezra or Syndulla. Now I have to admit that I haven't really watched Rebels yet, but due to how much I love The Mandalorian this year, and how that had links to that show as well, I will actually watch it this winter break, and undoubtedly will appreciate this map and its references even more. And to top it all off, there's a whole bunch of new and custom vehicles to play around with, from tanks and armor to fighters. It just screams for you to play this map over and over again, and each time find something new to play around with. It's fantastic and an absolute masterpiece. An absolute must download in my opinion, and well deserving of the number 1 spot. And that was the top 5 mods / maps for Battlefront 2 of 2020, everyone. I hope you all liked it, and I'm very curious if you maybe have a favorite or two that you love playing this year, or maybe if you know an entry that I missed and think I definitely should check it out and make a video about it. Of course, with New Year's Eve coming up, I will be taking another short break and come back early January of 2021. I'm not entirely sure yet when I will start uploading again, but I think it might be around the 8th or the 9th of January. So I basically will take a little bit over a week just to calm things down, play the games I want, watch the movies that I want, and just unwind and calm down after all these hectic days and this very strange year. I hope you all will take it easy too, and hope you will have a vacation or winter break that is full of relaxation, nice food and drinks, and of course, as always, plenty of Star Wars goodness. Have a great New Year's Eve, everyone, and I will see you all in 2021. May the Force be with you.